Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view ended with Edge winning the Men's Rumble match from the #1 spot, where he'll presumably set up a main event WrestleMania match against Drew McIntyre. Finally, Raw is pushing a younger challenger to the WWE Championship than the 54-year-old Goldberg. Edge is 47, but on Raw last night, Edge didn't declare who his Mania opponent will be, and Dave Meltzer is reporting why on Wrestling Observer. Not sure when this will be officially announced, but Roman Reigns vs Edge is the planned main event at WrestleMania. This could lend itself to the often fantasy-booked Spear vs Spear feud between Edge and Reigns. Well, we could still chuck Goldberg in there, make it a three-way Spear vs Spear vs Spear, and will be the first time Edge would be challenging for a championship since TLC 2010, where he won the World Heavyweight Championship that he was forced to vacate in April 2011 when he retired. It would also presumably see him eventually move over to his true home of SmackDown. Reigns retained his Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble thanks to Paul Heyman uncuffing him from some scaffolding. Eventually, he could have really done with some help from the other member of his tribal family, Jey Uso. But he's been absent from TV for a few weeks, and despite declaring himself for the Rumble, he wasn't at the event. According to Meltzer, this is because Jey is currently not medically cleared to wrestle. The reason for his absence, nor the date of his return, isn't known. But Jey wasn't the only one who missed the Rumble, as in an unprecedented absence. Fightful Select writes Vince McMahon also wasn't there. Ringside News has reported the show was instead run by Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and Kevin Dunn, while Vince was heavily involved in the lead-up to the show, working remotely. The running order of the event was signed off by Sunday morning, which is said to be much earlier than usual, because finishing things on the day of the event is good for WWE. Christian most definitely was there though, who made his triumphant return in the Rumble match, hugging Edge in the middle of the ring. I'm not crying, you're crying. And according to PW Insider, this was not just a one-off, as he will be making future appearances, and the belief is he'll be working a part-time schedule, although he didn't feature at all on last night's Raw. According to WrestleVotes on Twitter, all this meant the vibe backstage at the Rumble was the most upbeat locker room it's been in quite a while. This time of year usually does that, but also went on to say that the road to WrestleMania has real meaning this year, serving as a small light at the end of a dark tunnel. The small light at the end of a dark tunnel title of your wrestling pay-per-view. Or maybe also title of your next career move? Despite being currently pushed on SmackDown, including beating Daniel Bryan clean, Wrestling Inc. is reporting Cesaro's WWE contract will expire following WrestleMania 37. The report also states that it's unknown whether Cesaro will sign an extension or not. Cesaro to AEW confirmed. Would you like to see Cesaro leave WWE and wrestle elsewhere? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from outer European uppercuts saying, oh my god, yes please New Japan. And now it's time for a review of last night's post-Royal Rumble Raw in about 5 minutes. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Wonderwall Brian Gallagher, and the $100 man CB Horver. Raw opened with an almighty showing, because Drew McIntyre, thank God, is still our WWE champion. So out he came to point at the WrestleMania sign and said he respects Goldberg after the veteran accused him of being disrespectful to legends to start off their feud. So then legend Edge interrupted to call him stupid for being so respectful to him. Mummy and Daddy, you're contradicting each other again. Edge, as the ultimate opportunist, said McIntyre should have claymored him as soon as he got in the ring. I'm worried Edge thinks he's won the Money in the Bank briefcase. This brought out gangs of new Sheamus to help out his buddy to then bro kick McIntyre in the head. Sheamus has been doing the best work of his career, and his heel turn on Drew has been bubbling away since October, which is why this angle deserved a much higher profile segment. This should have been the show-ending cliffhanger, rather than the latest episode of ooh, spooky, spooky that we eventually got. Caruso alert! Drew later whimpered through a promo saying if Sheamus wanted to throw away their friendship for a match, then so be it. After Riddle ran the Hurt Business gauntlet last week, he got a United States Championship match here, which would have been really exciting if we hadn't already seen Bobby Lashley beat him decisively in a few minutes last month. And this played out exactly the same, and somehow worse. Bobby wouldn't let go of a full Nelson on Riddle in the ropes, so the referee called for the DQ a minute in. I loved Lashley's aggression, which seems to be a new direction for him following his violent tear through the Rumble, and MVP warning him about jail was a great touch, but it all comes at the expense of Riddle, who was all but buried here. One of the most promising wrestlers WWE have had in years, with the potential to break through as a top star, now surely destined for a life on the mid-card treadmill. After completing the slapjack level last week, Xavier Woods finally got a shot at Retribution's boss, Mustafa Ali. A still not medically cleared Kofi Kingston took out T-Bar outside, leading to Woods winning with a roller. Of all the WWE YouTube clips from the Royal Rumble, more than Edge and Belair's Rumble-winning promos, more than Christian's return, the most watched by far is Bad Bunny hitting a top rope splash fall onto Miz and Morrison. So even if you don't like his music, it would be foolish not to use him in a follow-up angle. And in a rare case of smart booking, WWE appear to be using the rapper's mainstream attention to get over a new star. Good Bunny. He appeared on Miz TV, which was all a way to set up full NXT call-up Damian Priest against The Miz. Priest hit a flip dive outside, blocked a Miz kick with a punch, and won thanks to Bunny taking out Morrison on the outside. It was as strong a debut as you're going to get in WWE. A victory over an established star alongside a mainstream celebrity draw. And as if that wasn't enough, Edge even endorsed him with a handshake backstage later on. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander actually worked together in their tag team title defense against Lucha House Party. It helped them retain, hopefully putting an end to this infighting story for now. Asuka, however, continues to look like a chump in her tag team, with the Raw Women's Champion playing second fiddle to whatever Charlotte's three more important storylines are. They took on Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and Naomi and Lana in a three-way tag #1 contenders match for the women's tag belts. Oddly, despite WWE telling me in promos and on commentary that all these women are best friends, none of them feel like they actually talk to each other. Oh yeah, that's right, it's because WWE systematically broke up all their actual tag teams for no reason last year. Because this is actually the Charlotte division, Ric Flair and Lacey Evans had the audacity to walk out on stage during the match, something they've done for the last 3 weeks now. So Charlotte really should have come up with a way to deal with it, but instead she just slowly walked after them, looking bored, leaving Asuka to take the pin by Naomi. Raw Women's Champion Asuka. Yes, I understand this is likely to start a feud between Charlotte and Asuka, but that doesn't make it any good. Speaking of random tag teams, Jeff Hardy teamed with Carlito following his Rumble return the previous night. It wasn't the most confident use of Carlito, who spent most of the match on the apron, got a brief hot tag, but then tagged Hardy back in to win with the Swanton Bomb against Elias and Jackson Riker. Why wouldn't you showcase his return in a singles match, or at least give him the pinfall win here? And most frustratingly, I get that it's COVID and all that, but why isn't he spitting apples in the faces of people who don't want to be cool? We got a recap of the Alexa Bliss stuff last week, which at one point in the video package genuinely became a recap of a recap of a recap. It's Recapception. She took on Nikki Cross in a really cool match actually. They have plenty of history together, and Alexa's character work was spot on, looking perplexed, adding a hopscotch before a gut kick, and debuting her new modified Sister Abigail finisher. I could still do without the supernatural guff, but this is where Bliss should be right now, building up her Lady Fiend alter ego against Nikki or in squash matches before she skipped to the end and started fighting Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. And the main event saw the massive match of Randy Orton versus Edge. Maybe too massive. As in, you really should have had at least a few weeks of build on TV to draw a bigger rating for this. Because they had a really great main event. The second best of their recent trilogy, in fact. It pretty much started in the third act, having double downs and signature moves from the off. Edge's selling of his previously broken neck was very believable, and Orton is so much better as an insecure sociopath rather than ooh, spooky, supernatural stuff. So naturally, the finish had spooky, supernatural stuff. As Randy was setting up for an RKO, Bliss appeared from out of nowhere sitting on the top turnbuckle with a viscous black liquid oozing from her mouth. Because supernatural stuff isn't that effective on Edge because of his brewed upbringing, he hit a spear to win. And as this was billed as one last time, along with reports Edge is going to choose Reigns on SmackDown, this is quite the limp end to his and Orton's feud. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below, and follow us on Twitter at WrestleTalk_TV to vote in our poll on a poll match, where 54.5% of you thought it was good. This was the best episode of Raw they've done in ages, but that is a low bar. There was plenty to enjoy on this show, like Priest and the in-ring drama of the main event, but there was also a lot of missed opportunities with Sheamus, Riddle and Asuka. This week's Raw is 3 out of 4. But what did I think of Edge winning the Rumble? Watch my review of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view by clicking the video on the right. And you can enjoy mine and Luke's full Rumble review podcast by clicking the video below that on our new WrestleTalk podcast channel. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.